Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. My guest today was on Tiny Pretty Things, which is a show on Netflix which aired in 2020. They played the role of Paige and they were fantastic in it, so it is with a great honour that I welcome Nicole Huff to my YouTube channel and to this interview.
Hi, I'm Nicole Huff, and I'm an actor, singer, songwriter, and dancer, and you can catch me on Tiny Pretty Things. I play Paige Aquino, or Pretty Hard Cases. I play Alina Taylor, and I'll be releasing some new music soon.
Thanks so much for coming, Nicole. So I'm going to be interviewing you today, and I've got 10 questions for you, and they're kind of based on your career and also about Tiny Pretty Things and your singing. So my first question I've got for you is, can you take me back to when you first began your career, and what inspired you to get into the dancing, singing, and acting industry?
Thank you so much for having me, Charlie, first of all. And I started getting into the entertainment industry when I was a really young girl. My parents enrolled me in a lot of activities growing up, and I really developed a passion for the arts in general. And they enrolled me in things like piano, skating, dance, singing lessons, and I think I said karate, and soccer, and just everything you can kind of think of, I was enrolled in. And specifically, I gravitated towards singing, dancing, and acting. But before I got into acting, my parents also, my mom, she put me in a talent pageant because she thought I was so talented, and why not, kind of show it off. So yeah, and then a couple people were like, they went up to my mom and they were like, you should put your daughter in like a talent agency or something. She's really talented. And so I did, and ever since then I've been acting, and I've done 35 commercials since, and done a lot of TV and film work as well. And I started taking it seriously actually only a few years ago, where I was like, I could really pursue this, and I started really training hard at my craft and working towards it. But growing up, I used to watch artists and actors and singers, and my favorite ones would inspire me to do that. If they could do it, I thought, well, I could too.
Hey, that's really cool, and that's kind of a great motive to kind of be inspired by people. So thank you for sharing like these memories and everything. So my next question I've got to ask is, what was the audition process like for Tiny Pretty Things?
The audition process for a lot of people from Tiny Pretty Things, and the main cast, was really crazy. They did a 2 times world search for their cast and for the dancers as well on the show. I mean, they're so talented, and they had to find the right ones, their dream cast. For my character Paige, actually, I only sent in a self tape, and I'd say a tape of me dancing, and they picked me right off the self tape. So I felt really lucky from that, actually. And when I spoke to the producer and showrunner, Michael McLennan, he said that for my role, they loved my tape, and that they needed somebody to portray this storyline and this character. They needed somebody had a really strong acting ability. So I feel like that's why I was chosen.
Oh yeah, that's really good. So yeah, that's amazing that they like looked at your self-tape and thought you were good. So it must show you've got really good talent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So continuing kind of on the theme of Tiny Pretty Things, my next question is, can you relate to your character Paige in any way?
I can definitely relate to my character Paige in a lot of ways. I mean, she's fun and sassy and quirky and full of energy and life and free spirited, and that's who she is as a person. I mean, when she goes through something that happens to her, her storyline on the show, we get to see her strength and her vulnerability as well. And me being, the person that I am, I believe that I have both sides to me. I mean, me as a person I'm really free spirited and fun. And I feel like I got to bring that side of myself to her when I was portraying her on the show. And while also, being that person that I am also vulnerable, and I do embody strength in myself. And with Paige, I feel like although she goes through things in her journey at the Archer, she's still that doesn't define her, and she'll be able to push through that. And uh, it is. I can't really give any spoilers. I mean, you didn't ask for any, but I can just say that she embodies those characters for sure, the characteristics.
Yeah, that's really good. Do you think they kind of created the character kind of around you? Do you think they were inspired by yourself when they made the character?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know the answer to that, to be honest. I mean, they could have wrote me in, but I found out that they auditioned a lot of other girls for Paige as well. So I don't think so, unless they auditioned and then had me in mind and then just picked me. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought personally, I thought you did a really good job of playing Paige, and yeah, hopefully there'll be a season two and you'll get to do it again.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
That's okay. So my next question is, what has been the best experience in your career so far?
The best experience in my career so far was definitely, I would say, Tiny Pretty Things. I mean, I had done a show called Degrassi before, and it's popular in Canada and everywhere in Canada. And it was a dream come true to be a part of that show as well. But Tiny Pretty Things and getting to work with uh, all the cast and also doing Private Eyes and Digstown. I mean, I got to work with um, people that I used to watch on television, like Jason Priestley and Vanessa Antoine and Lauren Holly. So it was definitely an honor to work with those people. And I would say that they're veterans and they've made a name for themselves and they're inspirations of mine.
Yeah, that's really good. I feel like, what was it kind of like meeting your inspirations? Were you like the first time you met them, were you completely shocked or were you so excited to meet them?
I was I was very excited to meet them, and I was pleasantly surprised that they're actually kind people as well. So it's nice to work with people that are incredible at their craft as well as uh, a nice person. So I mean, I remember, um, and I also recently worked on a show called Pretty Hard Cases, and I got to work with Dean McDermott, and he, he didn't he he was talking to me and having a conversation to me like I was just, you know, a part of the world. And I mean, I guess I was at the time and am, or, but they, he was just having a conversation with me. Same with Jason Priestley. He was just talking to me like I was just another person. And that's respectable because you should treat people like that, even when you do or have already made a name for yourself.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's kind of great how when you meet like celebrities that you can literally just have like a normal conversation with them.
Yeah.
So my next thing is kind of not based on like your acting and dancing, but it's about your singing. So obviously you create your own songs, and I was just wondering when you're writing your songs, what goes through your head, and do you have any tips or advice on writing songs that you have?
What goes through my mind? So usually I take inspiration from things that I listen to, and I we tend to gravitate towards the music that we're feeling, that we can relate to sometimes, and or not sometimes, like most of the time, or just songs that make you feel empowered and fun and good about yourself. And I love to listen to music. Like I'm always listening to music. Like I always have earphones in my ear, or I'm always watching a movie. Like those are the two things that I'm like always doing with my time if I don't have anything else to do. When I'm writing my music itself, I think about what I want to how I want to make other people feel in the music. So not just the story that I'm telling with my music, but also like how I want to make people feel. I always want to make, young girls or guys feel, empowered. And so that's really what I think about. Or I just think about something that's personal to me and what can I say? What kind of story can I tell about my life and introduce people to my life and bring them in.
How long have you been writing songs for?
I've been writing songs for um, years now. I mean, some of them are never going to get released, and some of them might. I mean, will. So I also work with a really amazing team. So I work with my music producer, who's amazing, and who has worked with people like Britney Spears and Michael Jackson. So these are really big names, and I aspire to, obviously be, as great as them. And I also work with a really amazing songwriter. So we co-write a lot of the songs on my EP, and that's how we put all our brains together and make the best.
Yeah, that's incredible. And yeah, I think your songs are really good. And yeah, carry on doing what you're doing. So, my next question is there anyone who you look up to in the dancing, acting, or singing industry?
Oh, so yeah, I mean, by the way, I do post a lot of like covers on my social media of me singing, and those are actually not my own songs. I think I may or may not have forgotten to like credit what the song is, but I actually will be releasing like my first EP original music, so I actually haven't written the ones that I have covered before, but they are pretty great. But with my inspirations, I would say that I have so many of them. I mean, I have some acting and some singing inspirations, and some of them like they intertwine. So I would say that my acting inspirations are people like Joaquin Phoenix, Leonardo DiCaprio, Angelina Jolie, Florence Pugh, and Jennifer Lopez as well, because she also dances and acts and does the whole thing incredibly. So I have so many. I love singers like Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, Britney Spears for her performance style, and it's all over the map, really. Michael Jackson, there's so many.
Yeah, those are all great inspirations. And I think like when you hike really do have an inspiration and you want to be like them, it really does motivate you to try really hard. I don't know if like you feel the same way, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
So my next question is, what was it like filming on the set of Tiny Pretty Things?
It was an incredible experience, Charlie. It was so much fun, and getting to meet people from a different country and getting to keep in touch with some of them, it's been amazing. And I feel like everyone on the set is really on your team and there to make an amazing project, and they care so much about what they do and are so passionate and motivated. And that's really important, is to work with people that are like-minded and have the same intention and goal as you. I had so much fun, and I really got to connect with some people, and I couldn't have asked for um, a more incredible experience.
Yeah, that's really great that it was an amazing experience. Oh yeah, this is kind of a random question, but what was your favorite dance that you did on Tiny Pretty Things?
So I took part in most of the acting stuff, since that's what I was like there for. I did a lot of warm-ups sometimes, so I would like always be stretching. And I wish I got to take place in more dances, but unfortunately, I I wasn't. So
Do you have a favorite scene then? Was there a favorite scene you had?
my favorite scene, I would say, oh, by the way, with the dances, they made sure to pick really elite trained, specifically ballet or contemporary dancers. And for me, I definitely did train in ballet and contemporary and many different styles of dance, specifically contemporary and tap and other things. However, for this one, they wanted elite dancers who focused on that, and my focus was kind of everything growing up. It was like karate, piano, singing, and acting as well. So getting to put my focus into dance wasn't possible for me unless that's what I picked. Um, my favorite scene was probably the nightmare scene that I do with Monique, and the nightmare scene that also Cassie's in. So I got to bring like an evil side of me, which is really fun, and getting to see it come out with all the cool lighting and the acting performance of everyone. It really came together and was effective, I thought.
Yeah, the nightmare scenes were like really scary, but I thought that they were really good. I can
Yeah.
remember like there was a couple which like stick in your head, like when you mention them, like there's some really scary ones.
Yeah, there's some really scary ones.
Yeah, I remember in the first episode quite early on there was one where like there was I don't know if you're in it, you might have been, but it was one where like one of them was like twisting something and it like broke their foot.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, that was very creepy.
I'm not in that, but that was creepy.
Yeah, that was scary because it was like right at the beginning and I was like, oh my gosh, is this show going to be like really like scary like that?
Yeah.
So my next question is, do you have any advice to people who want to get into the acting or dancing industry? I know this is quite similar to the other singing one, but
No, my advice, I mean, there's so many things, um, you know, don't be so hard on yourself all the time. Really, be present, but also enjoy the journey, and work really hard. So make sure that you work hard, train hard at your craft, and don't give up ever. I mean, there's with the industry, there's so much rejection, and you you're constantly hearing a no sometimes, and that can get really frustrating. And it got frustrating for me, even when I was doing my even when I was on my journey. It got frustrating to hear no's, but you will hear them, and you just have to keep pursuing, keep doing whatever you can to work on your craft, and think positively and not be too hard on yourself. Enjoy it, because life's too short to not enjoy it.
Yeah, that's some great advice, and I think lots of people will be able to kind of relate to it. And thank you for sharing your advice. It means a lot to everyone, I expect. So I have, oh no, I have two more questions. So my ninth question is: have you always wanted to be an actor or dancer, or was there another profession that you were previously interested in?
I mean, I think I always knew with subjects. I grew up. I grew up always knowing that I was going to pursue the arts, because I would always exceed in the arts. But I actually also did really well in language. So I love communicating, and I would, get really good grades on my essays in school for English and for French. I developed a passion for French when uh, my I was in a French immersion school and an elementary school. So I would say that if I wasn't pursuing the industry, I probably considered being uh, something to do with writing, or like something creative writing or something like that, which is still artistic, or French teaching, which I actually do on the side right now. But my main focus growing up has always been the arts, because I've always just naturally been drawn to that. And I've always been naturally really good at anything art related, because I think I was so passionate about it. But I never ever considered anything like being a doctor, or because I never gravitated towards like the sciences, even though I think and have so much respect for people in that industry. I'm just a very artistic person with a lot of, I was grateful to be put into a lot of activities growing up as well. So I really continued working hard at my crafts. So it's always been the arts for me.
Yeah, that's great. And I think like it's great that you've always had that goal of succeeding in it, because I think that like that's really good that you've always wanted to have that goal and that you finally got it. Well, not finally got it, but you have got your dream, and it's really good.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. You're most welcome. So I have one more question for you, and this is my all-time favorite question to ask everyone, and it is: have you got any tiny pretty things behind the scenes stories that you want to share?
Do I have any tiny pretty things behind the scenes stories? Um, I would say the first time that I actually met the actor who plays Shane and Cash, I met them, Brennan and Cash. I was like, I met them for the first time. I was like, hey, I'm Nicole, and then Cash, I think, went, I'm Cash, and then Brennan went, I'm Velvet, and then I went, I'm Silk. So it was just this like little fun trio joke that we made. Um, Other than that, I think just the rest of the experience was incredible. But specifically, that was my first day on set, where I went to my fitting. Where that happened.
Yeah, that's really good. That's quite a funny kind of first story you've got. Yeah, it's great that like the cast were the cast lovely, like the tiny pretty things cast. Did you all bond straight away?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of us still keep in touch to this day. So, I mean, you make friends when you are on set, and especially being a part of getting to be a part of the dance community. I know what it's like to be a dancer, so I can empathize, and you relate to people that you meet on set, and you work with them for a long time. So for sure, I'm really grateful that I got the experience to meet people on that set and be a part of the project as a whole.
Yeah, well, well, personally, it is a great show, and it's great that you got to be part of it. And obviously, I'd love to see a season two of it. So fingers crossed for that. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we've came to the end of the interview now, and it has been great learning more about you and your advice and your experiences and everything. So thank you so much for sharing those, and it has been so lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Charlie.
You're most welcome. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and thank you so much for coming, Nicole. It's been great. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next week for another interview. Bye, everyone.